You know, Toriyama, you're a genius, man. Before we start, do me a quick favor and leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Now, let's get moving. What's up, guys? That go the pencil here, and here we are to talk about Dragon Ball's writing. And yes, I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about Dragon Ball, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z, I'm talking about Dragon Ball GT, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Super, I'm talking about Dragon Ball... Okay, I'm not going that far, because I haven't watched Dragon Ball Heroes. But in terms of Dragon Ball's writing, I have to say I'm impressed. And here's the thing. I'm not a professional writer. I'm not trained to be a professional critic of writing. But from what I've read of Dragon Ball, which is a lot of it, all of it, basically, and what I've watched of Dragon Ball, it is very, very impressive to me as a person who wants to write. Because what Toriyama manages to do, especially in, I'd say, Dragon Ball through Dragon Ball Z, when he was writing all of it, drawing it all himself, doing everything himself, is that he manages to do something that's very, very difficult for any writer in a continuous medium to do, and that's take the ideas of your fans and take the feedback of your fans while producing the content you're making, and also having it have some consistent through line. Now, I know that sounds really complicated, and honestly, I'm not even sure what I just verbalized right there. However, what I mean is, if you'll notice throughout a lot of Dragon Ball, Toriyama is a madman. Like, we literally went from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z in one chapter. Like, there was a whole big nomenclature thing between Dragon Ball and Z literally doesn't exist in the original manga. You just go from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. And the way that Toriyama is constantly able to see what his readers like. Okay, so you start off as a mostly comedy series with some aspects of fighting. People really like the fighting you do, so you start to bring in more aspects of fighting. When you look at the beginning of Z, when you look at the beginning of Dragon Ball and you look towards the end of Dragon Ball, you can see the writing and the more mystical elements are coming in more and more and more. You start off with a boy and a girl. Sure, the boy has a monkey tail and a magical extending pole, but it's really, really small scale, really, really simple. But as the series grows and grows and grows, it begins to include different things. It includes deities like Kami, and their guardians like Mr. Popo. It includes mercenaries and assassins, and it goes crazier and crazier and crazier. And it's around the Budokais that you see a real shift in the series, where the comedy is still there, yes, but due to the uprise in the fans of loving the action of Dragon Ball, it becomes a more action-oriented series. And I think that's no more evident than looking at Piccolo versus Goku, round one at the end of Dragon Ball. The scale of action in that fight compared to a lot of the early fights in Dragon Ball is so dynamic and so drastic and so intense, mainly as a response of what Toriyama did towards the end. What Toriyama saw his fans wanted. Yet he managed to, if you look, but it's so weird to explain, but when you look from Dragon Ball to, when you read Dragon Ball all the way through, you understand that there's a narrative through line. There's no dissonance in your brain. There's not really a point that you can pick out in the manga where it shifts from comedy to action. Everything seems gradual and realistic, and it's because Toriyama is a fantastic writer, and you can see it even more in the natural transition from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, where, yes, Raditz landing on Earth and dropping a whole bunch of exposition on the Saiyans and their background and what their goal is and yada yada yada. It seems in the moment, especially if you didn't watch Dragon Ball, to come right out of nowhere, but you start to see those aspects. From the first chapter of Dragon Ball, Goku, a boy with a tail, obviously isn't human. And you can even tell because there are animal people in Dragon Ball, and there are humans in Dragon Ball, and there are dinosaurs too, but there's never a hybrid, which is what Goku was. No real beings in original Dragon Ball seemed to transform, and the only other one who did was Piccolo, but he just got bigger. And even Piccolo had this weird language with Kami, and you could have thought it was just the language of the gods, but Piccolo wasn't a god, he was a demon supposedly. So it creates this interesting dissonance where by the end of Dragon Ball at all, you're wondering more and more about the questions being presented by the series. And Toriyama, who sees what his audience is liking, the mystery of Dragon Ball, where it's going, and the action of Dragon Ball, he ramps it up for Dragon Ball Z. Piccolo and Goku teaming up against Raditz. It's a much more visceral fight than, once again, almost everything we've gotten in Z. And it ends with Goku dying. Because The fans were loving the raised stakes, and Toriyama was like, oh, y'all want raised stakes? Well, I got some prime beef right here for you boys. And then he did it. He killed Goku, and then he started going further. And that's the great thing. Toriyama's world of Dragon Ball, we started it off so small, so narrow, and it can just almost infinitely expand, because every single time the verse did expand, from Earth all the way out into space, all the way out into the realm of the gods, all the way out into the realm of the gods of destruction, all the way up to Zeno, there's never really been something I would call an unnatural transition. When something new is introduced about the series, it's not what the heck, where did this come from, which is an issue I have with a lot of other series in their writing. I do believe there are elements in a lot of other series. I say this in all series, even series I like. I think My Hero Academia has this issue a lot. I think Seven Deadly Sins has this issue in spades. I think even series like Magi, the new series I've just read, has a ton of times where it's just like, oh yeah, here's this new element that's always part of the world, but just doesn't feel natural or organically there. Like, this isn't an, oh yeah, that makes sense. This isn't, oh, I mean, I guess I'll take that with a grain of salt. And while you can get used to certain aspects like that, seeing it done so well in Dragon Ball, it starts to explain why Dragon Ball is the standard. Is it the best thing out there? No, and you won't ever catch me claiming that it is. However, the reason so many people cite Dragon Ball for the inspiration, authors like Kishimoto, authors who have done own famous works of their own, they're like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball's it. And it's not just because it's nostalgic, it's not just because it's cool, it's not just because any of those superficial factors, it's because it's written well. Notice how all the villains have a great interplay with Goku as a character, specifically in that moment. The way that Goku's character arc grows alongside the villains is intriguing, especially since Goku is a flat character. You would think that, oh, flat characters shouldn't change that much, but watching Goku's morality grow and shift and change and ebb and flow, it's so interesting because of how the villains challenge him, and that's a great thing that Toriyama does. Toriyama writes villains that emphatically challenge the hero, whether it be Piccolo, the reincarnation of the original Demon King, to show how far Goku has come as a warrior and how far he has just grown as an individual, whether it be Raditz, a brother, his outside source, the opening to a new world for Goku that ends up getting taken, which ends up sending Goku to the other world because it was such a drastic shift. Frieza, now Vegeta, a character that was in a very similar situation to Goku, but they've grown up in two different ways and they inadvertently changed each other because Goku's morality changed to where he believed, okay, I can do this, I'm gonna let him go, he's gonna be a great fight later. It's so interesting. And then you see Frieza, who challenges Goku's morality even more and makes Goku realize, well, gosh darn, I guess I gotta kill people now. And then you see that lasting impact onto Cell, but then Cell becomes Gohan's villain. The ultimate combination of all the relics of the past going against the new part of the future in Gohan. That fight's fantastic. Even Majin Buu is looked down upon as the worst arc of Z, and you won't catch me really disagreeing with that. However, the thing I like, again, about Majin Buu, I like Fat Buu a lot, mainly because he's the antithesis to everything we've seen. Fat Buu is a Dragon Ball villain with Dragon Ball Z levels of power. I like that. It's a merging of the two sides that we hadn't seen for a while. Super Buu, he's a less interesting Cell in Frieza, which is sad, which is why I don't like Super Buu that much. But then Kid Buu is almost the purest of antithesis to everything. He's nothing but a being of destruction who only cares about destruction. And seeing Goku, a person who cares about the exact opposite, protection, and seeing those two fight it out to the end, and seeing that Goku realized that he couldn't do it on his own, he needed the help of others to protect everything that they all care for. It's really, really good. And I do believe the writing drops off a little bit in Super. I think Beerus is a fantastic introduction, but he serves more so as an antagonist, but he acts almost as Raditz did. He acted as an introduction to an entire new world for Dragon Ball. Except he did it in a different way, where he's this insurmountable wall towards Goku. Until now, where Goku's very, 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 very likely surpassed him. But That's the thing. Zabir served his purpose. Frieza's revival, it resulted in things I consider interesting, but I don't think it's worth it that much. Hit wasn't really much of a villain. He was much more as temporary antagonist, and the only reason I like Hit so much is it revealed that Goku, despite all of his preconceived notions about combat and stuff like that, he's perfectly fine with underhanded tactics. He's perfectly fine with getting himself killed. He's perfectly fine with doing that all for a fight. And while it's a bit insane, if y'all know me at this point, I love me a good smoke demon. And man, does Toriyama know how to write good smoke demons. Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, even Super Saiyan 2 Team Gohan, all smoke demons to the utmost degree, and I love it. But going on in the villains, when you look at Goku Black, he's really the dream of Goku, a being that can grow stronger and endlessly and just constantly face nothing but evolution, who loves he really is just Goku if Goku went down a darker path. It's almost what Goku could have been if Raditz had convinced him, or if Goku never hit his head. Except, of course, it comes through another character in Zamasu. And I like that a lot. And finally, Jiren, the epitome, like what Goku, Jiren is basically Goku if the sad backstory that Goku had affected him in a negative way. He's the strongest of the strongest in his entire universe, and just like Goku, aims to surpass everyone and be the strongest ever, except Jiren doesn't believe in friends while Goku does. It's impressive. And spoilers for the Moro arc, if you are an anime only and you don't want spoilers for it, I like how Moro, in a sense, is Goku's greatest hits. Like, Goku faces almost every single thing he's faced in his past villains in Moro. That's why Moro is so copy-paste. I think it's an excuse. I think Moro should have been more uniquely designed towards its final. I think the Moro arc falls apart a bit in its second half, but I can see where Toyotaro and Toriyama were going with it, and I can respect that. The great thing about Dragon Ball's writing is not only does it take fan input and work it in well and create a cohesive structure, not only does it create a world that has such a soft basis to it that you can constantly just keep building, not a soft basis, a solid foundation that you can just keep building off of. Not only does it have fantastic written character arcs that I'm not even going to dive into because I need to dive into those in separate videos, it literally has all of it. That's what I like. It has so many factors to it that make it so good. The series is a fulfilling read. There's a reason Super Saiyan is so iconic. And there's a reason Super Saiyan 2 is so iconic. There's a reason these characters have lasted in history forever, and there's a reason that Dragon Ball still sells out. There are plenty of nostalgic shows out there that get continuations and so on, and constant reruns, but they don't reach Dragon Ball. They don't reach Dragon Ball levels of popularity, and that's due to multiple reasons. Are there older shows that are written better than Dragon Ball? Yes. However, Dragon Ball hit that proper niche where it has everything a good shonen should have, and thus it set the standard for good shonen. And that, for a writer who probably had zero idea it was going to go this way, is super impressive. But that's all I have to say for today. I think Dragon Ball's writing is fantastic. If y'all have any ideas about Dragon Ball's writing, or any way it could improve, especially with the upcoming arc in the manga, please drop in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear it, honestly, because I have no idea where we're going. But then again, I had no idea where we were going when Super started. So, I don't know. I'll leave it up to Toriyama. But that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off.